Our goal, that is Hunter Biden, Devon Archer, and myself, was to make billions, not millions.
The prize is that contact and that access to power.
The relationship development is business. Joe Biden walking in a room and shaking Chairman Yee's hand is business.
The entire value add of Hunter Biden to our business was his family name and his access to his father, Vice President Joe Biden. Because of this access, I agreed to contribute equity ownership to them, Hunter and Devon, for no out-of-pocket cost to them in exchange for their, quote, relationship cap.
I want to be crystal clear. From my direct personal experience and what I've subsequently come to learn, it is clear to me that Joe Biden was the brand being sold by the Biden family.
What was the value that Hunter Biden brought to the table, according to Mr. Archer?
Well, it was the term he used at the time was the Biden lift. The Biden lift that we talked about was access. Access meant, to us at the time, being in the business of acquiring other businesses, to persuade third parties to do business with us.
You just spell it out for us, what the Biden lift did to induce companies to want to be able to do these transactions. What was it? What was the Biden lift?
I think it was situation specific. Foreign investors would have a view of political access to the most powerful, admired country in the world, leadership in the most powerful, admired country in the world.
But was business partners with the Bidens for years, comes out and tells the world that Joe Biden was on 20 plus phone calls. What was he calling for? Why? He was calling to demonstrate the Biden brand to whoever was in that meeting, whether it was the Ukrainians, the Romanians, the Russians, Colombians, Chinese, whoever it was. That's all he had to do. He didn't have to say, well, hey, what about that deal? Where are we getting the money to fund that? Just him being on the phone is evidence of involvement and enabling the transaction. And any statement otherwise is an absurd statement.
This call took place on May 4, 2014 during a gathering hosted by a Ukrainian associate of Ms. Baturina and a business partner of ours at Romanov's, a restaurant in Brooklyn, New York. A few days after this May 4th party, an email my lawyer provided to this committee shows that Devon had confirmed Ms. Baturina was committed to a, quote, hard order of $10 to $20 million in a Burnham investment banking client. During the May 4th party, we were told to go to an area of the restaurant to gather because Hunter was going to call his father. Hunter called his father, said hello, and hold on, Pops. Then put on the call on speakerphone and said, I'm here with our friends. I told you we're coming to town, and we wanted to say hello. The vice president said hello, and some pleasantries, and hope you had safe travels, and then it seemed like he wanted to bring the call to an end by saying, okay, you be good to my boy. Hunter responded by saying, everything is good, and we're moving ahead. The vice president said something about being helpful, and Hunter ended the call by saying that he was going to call his father later. I recall being stunned by this call to actually hear the vice president's voice on the phone. It was clear to me that this was a prearranged call with his father, meant to impress the Russian investors that Hunter had access to his father and all the power and prestige of that position.
And then they were all working. I wasn't interacting with Joe after that, for that week. They were all working to get Joe Biden to come to New York in May of 2017 and meet with Chairman Yee. Little did I know at that time that Joe had already met Chairman Yee, and that's why they were so casually talking about it.
In 2014, I agreed with Hunter and Devon that the Burnham & Company enterprise would be significantly enhanced by forming a partnership with Harvest Fund Management, a $300 billion Chinese financial services company closely connected to the Chinese Communist Party. Harvest had already agreed to be a founding partner of a newly established fund called BHR. The partners wanted to expand this Chinese relationship through Burnham and did so through a series of investment structures intended to gain Chinese financial support. This effort was led by Hunter Biden's contact with Henry Zhao, the Harvest chairman. Mr. Zhao was interested in this partnership because of the game-changing value add of the Biden family, including Joe Biden, who was to be a member of the Burnham Harvest team post-vice presidency, providing political access in the United States and around the world. My lawyer has provided to the committee a draft of an email dated August 23, 2014 from Hunter Biden that reflects this understanding. It states, quote, Michael, please also remind Henry of our conversation about a board seat for a certain relation of mine. Devon and I golfed with that relation earlier last week, and we discussed this very idea again. And as always, he remains very, very keen on the opportunity, end quote. While this section of the email was struck from the final version, it was drafted with an understanding of what had transpired regarding this effort. Devin Archer forwarded this email to me with the words, quote, FYI, example of lean in on Henry from Hunter. This is email drafted for him to send to Henry, end quote. The words lean in were used often by Devin and Hunter in our business dealings as a term for access to Vice President Biden's political influence.
If your last name wasn't Biden, do you think you would have been asked to be on the board of Burisma?
I don't know. Probably not. I don't think that there's a lot of things that would have happened in my life that if my last name wasn't Biden.
I do believe that, at the end of the day, Burisma wouldn't have stayed in business so long, if Hunter was not on the board.
So they got
Some
their
years.
money back.
I think they got some years.
The reference to DA and HB, at the end of the day, the other non-legal protection is the relationship cover, DA and HB. What did that relate to?
Political cover
Okay.
in Ukraine, both defensive and offensive. Defensive was to try to resolve or deflect continuing legal problems for Nikolai. Offensive would be to try to make sure the production and sharing agreement would get approved by the various ministries that need to have it approved, which is embedded in this production and sharing agreement that was an attachment to this email. It required government approvals. So the cover was another tool brought to bear in the development of this equity value.
Was it your understanding that Zlochevsky placed Hunter Biden on his board for protection?
Yes.
The prize or the, being able to have, whether it's on, speakerphone or in person, to have, that person in direct contact, whether you're talking about, weather or, politics or what have you, that's the important part. I don't think, there's no relevance in asking, the vice president about, the gas,
Right.
revenues or anything.
It's
like that. It was
enough.
never, it's enough. And the prize is that contact and that access to power.